My name's Amos Madra, and I'm a careers advisor with Change in Education. It's been an absolutely jam-packed week. You know, you guys have been getting stuck into all the events that we've had and all the activities from our industry insight sessions right through to these live masterclass sessions, and also with all the other activities that you guys have been getting stuck into. And also our elevator pitch. Don't forget to get that completed as soon as you can. Great to see so many people engaging in what has been an absolutely fantastic week of virtual work experience. So again, today, you know, thank you to all of you. Thank you, a huge thank you to all our employer partners who've taken the time to come and sit down and to talk to us and give some insight and also some knowledge into their industries. And today with me, it's Gary Wilson. Gary started his own company in 2013 after spending 12 years in the corporate world. He works with companies to make sure that they achieve the highest standard of health and safety and environmental standards. He has extensive project management experience, and he also operates drones. How cool is that? And also that's to help with his work. Gary has worked in many roles, from a fishmonger to a tennis coach to a prison officer. It doesn't get any more varied than that. So clearly this is someone who knows what they're talking about. Gary, a warm welcome to you. Thank you very much for joining us today.
No problem. Thanks a lot. It's great to be invited, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Fantastic. So I've touched on some of the things you've done there. How did you go from being a fishmonger, tennis coach, right through to where you are today? And can you just tell us a bit about yourself?
To be fair, the fishmonger was when I was doing my A levels. I worked at a couple of supermarkets just to earn a bit of extra cash while I was doing my A levels, and the fishmonger job, although it wasn't the nicest smelling job around, it actually paid a little bit more than the sort of general shelf stacking stuff. So I did that. Tennis coach, I've done that since I was young because I've always played sport since I was like a young kid. So that just, I helped out at the local club and sports centre. Then I went to uni. Then I went into the prison service for a little bit. Didn't really like that. So moved into the corporate world. Worked up, for quite a large company for 12 years, got up to being a sort of senior management position. And then, 2013, I suppose I just thought, I'm not getting any younger. I need to, if I'm going to go on my own and try and make a go of it on my own in my business, I'll try it now. So did that. And then 7 years later, I'm still here. So must be going all right.
Wow. Absolutely fantastic. And that shows, from where you start, you just don't know where you're going to end up, as long as you're determined and you keep pushing. And, Gary, you're a great example of that. So guys, get your questions in. I can see there's many of you who are jumping onto our live here today. Let's get lots of you on today. This is our final day with this virtual work experience. So this is your opportunity to get those questions in. If you haven't had your questions answered yet, get them in so that we can get them over to Gary. We've got lots again to get through here. Gary, what was it like setting up your own business? How did you find that process?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't as difficult because you sort of get a little bit, I suppose, worried about, it's going to be all legal costs, or you've got to do this, you've got to do that. It's not actually that difficult. I mean, when I first started, I set up as a sole trader. So I just went online, registered myself at sort of company's house as a business, got myself an accountant so I can make sure all the facts and figures were right. And then I suppose when we went limited in 2018, it's just a case of you can do it yourself. It's not difficult. You go online. It's quite easy to follow sort of company's house websites and the government gov.uk websites. Just make sure you've got the correct name, address, things like that. Pay the fees. It's not that difficult setting it up. I suppose it's the difficult bit is making sure you register everything when you need to, submit everything when you need to. It's those sort of disciplines really. But setting it up was not. I was more nervous about whether we'd have any work coming in when I first set up rather than than that, to be honest. But luckily we did. So it's not that difficult.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for that. Gary, we're having a few issues with your line, but it's fine. We're still getting the point across. So apologies if it's causing any disruptions there. We've got lots of people already here getting stuck into this. Guys, get your questions coming in. This is an absolutely great opportunity to ask those questions that you've always wondered in terms of starting a business. And, if that's something that you've always wanted to go into, no better person than Gary here today to ask. So did you always know that you wanted to own your own business? Is that something you always wanted to do, or how did that come about?
No, to be honest, I always wanted to be like a footballer or something when I was growing up, and then I wasn't good enough, so I thought I'd better do something else. But no, I think it only really occurred to me when I was getting towards the end of that sort of 2012 period, where I was doing a lot of hours, not having much family time, work-life balance wasn't great, and a lot of my friends and stuff were saying, well, why don't you just set up as a consultant initially? You've got the qualifications, the skills, experience. I thought, yeah, but it's a bit risky because at least if you've got employment, you've got a salary coming in every month, you know what's coming in, what's going out. But then I thought, well, do you know what? If I don't ever do it, if I don't take that step now or take the step at some point, it's just, I'll never do it. And then I'll always think, could I have made a success of it? What would it have been like? So, yeah, I think I wasn't always wanting to do it. I think towards the end there, 2012, it was a case of, look, now's the time, because I've always been quite happy in my work there before that, and then I was getting to the point where I wasn't. Didn't enjoy going into work, and I just thought, well, let's give it a try. So yeah, obviously we cover a wide variety of areas in what we do now. So from cleaning oil tanks, project management, health and safety, the drone side, we've got a wide range. So it's quite good now because you don't know what you're doing day to day. You can be doing something different every day, which it keeps the variety, I suppose. And yeah, but no, I mean, I would say, like I said before to you when we spoke before, it don't always have a predetermined idea of what you want to do and what you want to be, because things can change, and you get ups and downs, and then you might go down a different path. It doesn't always mean you have to sort of follow what you wanted to follow when you were 11, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think from that, I can see, you definitely went with, what you believed in, and, live without regrets. You took that chance, and it was like you believed that this was, the right thing for you to do. It was an opportunity, and you took, a hold of that. But what's really important as well is running your business, the attention to detail, and then also expanding that business. That doesn't happen by fluke. That's obviously dedication. Would you say hard work and that sort of discipline pays off? Is it all about hard work, or is it a balance?
I think I've always, I mean, my dad was a sort of military guy, rest his soul, and he always used to say to us, like, he'd bring us up with, like, you get what you put in. It's the same as everybody says, but the more hard work, more effort you put into something, the better the rewards you'll get. Running your own business, you can't go into that half-hearted. You can't go into that thinking, I'm going to make £1 million in the first 6 months by just sort of sitting behind my laptop. But some people might, they'll be very lucky. But I think it's about knowing, you've got to still get that balance, but you do have to put quite a lot of effort in, and the discipline to keep driving it forward, even when you've got, like currently with COVID, it's for everybody, it's been a struggle, especially, smaller business owners and stuff. But you either fold up, the way I look at it, you either fold yourself up and or you drive on and try and get through it. That's positivity. That's the way to go for me.
Positive.
Life's too short. Life's too. Like you said before, I've always gone with my gut and gone with. For me, life's too short to not take an opportunity, or at least see where it leads. Otherwise, you'll regret everything. You regret not doing things or trying things. So it's always been my outlook.
So, guys, you've heard it here. Positive mental attitude. Life's too short. You got to take your chances, and Gary's done that. So, we've got a few questions coming in already, Gary. Abdullahi, well done. By the way, you've been really active this week. Keep the questions coming, guys. And he's asking, how did you feel? How does it feel being your own boss and running your own business? How does that feel?
A few things really, I suppose. I'm very proud about it. You know, I know you shouldn't. People say, "Oh, don't always sing your own praises," but I'm very proud of the fact that, you know, I've taken a business from being a sole trader, and now I've got sort of 6 staff directly employed, and we run bigger projects, and I'm proud of what I've done. It's you get there's extra stresses involved. Sometimes when you grow bigger, obviously taking staff on, so you're responsible for, you know, 5, 6 mortgages, not one mortgage or rent or whatever. But on the flip side of that, you know, it's very positive, and you're your own boss, and it's hard to put into words what that feels like. If you want to make a decision, it's within reason, it's your decision. You know, if you get a project or a client that you maybe don't want to work with for whatever reason, or you can walk away. You can't always do that when you're an employed person, because you sort of got to do what you're told to do in some aspects. So that's a positive. I suppose from a point of view, the pressures, you're always looking for the next job coming in, the next bit of work. You've got to be really focused on planning ahead, looking at the future, because, you know, you can rest on your laurels a little bit and then have a gap, which you can't really afford to have as a small business owner. But I enjoy it. It's sometimes stressful, but at the end of the day, you are your own boss. So you master your own destiny within reason, without COVID coming and things like that. You can make your own life, really.
Well, there you have it, guys. You know, lots more advice there. You know, if you want to set up your own business, yes, it's going to be difficult, but, you know, you get to determine, you know, as Gary says, you know, what you want to do. You are your own boss. We've got another question coming here. We've got this question here. It says, what would be your best advice to someone looking to start their own business?
That's a good question. I suppose the best bit of advice would be make sure you know what business you're going into. So don't just think, I'm going to start my own business with like a few ideas, but you need to know sort of what area you're going to go into, because you very quickly need to focus on sales and sort of driving the business. And if you're going in with a half-hearted, well, I might do a bit of this, or I might sell that, or I might make it probably would be doomed to fail. So have a plan. Get your plan of what you want to do, what your actual business is going to be. Look at your finances, because they're always, you know, you don't need millions of pounds or thousands of pounds to set up a business, but it is good to have a little bit of a buffer, or at least know your budgets. I mean, we do quite a bit of coaching. I do quite a bit of coaching with small business owners and startups. And one of the things that I look at is people have this, I don't know what you'd call it, but think that suddenly revenue is going to pop in within the first month of starting. It doesn't always work like that. You might be 6 months in without being able to pay yourself a salary, or you've got to allow for that. Not being negative, you've got to. So I would look at the finances, look at what your plan is, what your business is going to be. You see so many people who come in with a certain business, and then within a month they're divesting out into something else. So say, no, we're going to do, you know, we're going to do this as well now, because they're not maybe selling the initial business well. Take advice as well. Speak to other business owners. Speak to, you know, your parents, your friends, family, anybody, or you guys, anybody from, you know, careers type advice, to get advice. There's a lot of free advice out there.
Thanks for that, Gary. Guys, keep your questions coming in. There's lots here still to get through. What was your day-to-day like? What, you know, from when you what time do you get up, and what do you get how do you get through your day?
I'd like to get up a bit later, but having a 6 and 3-year-old, it doesn't always work that way, unfortunately, even on a weekend. I'm up quite early, because when we're doing project work on sites, we tend to be on site for 8 o'clock. So I'll probably normally be up about 6, half 6. It can vary, because obviously I'm either seeing clients to look at their health and safety or quality management or whatever, or I'm on site running big projects where we're cleaning tanks with robotics and all the interesting stuff that I like doing. But yeah, it can be varied. I mean, it can be long days. We cover the whole country as well. So, we've even done work in Europe this year, earlier on this year. So it can be anywhere from Scotland to sort of Southampton. But I'm always tend to try and catch up first thing on my emails if I can. or last thing on an evening. I always try and I'm not always got a clear inbox, but I try and have a bit of a, you know, some sort of policy where I'm giving myself, right, you need to get this clear down. You know, anything that comes in, I've got a to-do list. Well, it's a task tracker. That's quite critical to me because that'll tell me what I need to do. And I make sure that's specific to the day, because some people can get very tied up with, I've got 100 tasks to do. Some of them might not need doing for a month. So I always try and say, right, I'm going to be realistic on what I'm going to achieve. Because the last thing you do is, if you go to bed on a night and you think you've not achieved what you wanted to or not got anywhere near it, it's demoralizing. And so I think, I've got guys working out different sites. I'll have different clients. I've done a lot of Zooms and Teams, obviously during this period, which has been interesting. A bit of networking, if I can fit it in normally, things like that.
Yeah, and being specific as well with
very
having
varied.
a list as well.
Yeah, it can change day to day.
Yeah, but you've heard that, guys. Rather than just, you know, wondering how your day is going to be and just, you know, you'd rather be specific. Have a list, a to-do list where you know what you're doing at certain times. Being structured will help you, and being organized that way. That's, you know, good advice there again. Tell us a bit about the drones and, you know, what that's like.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it was a bit of a my business partner, who's now gone back to the Met Police actually, but he came on board for 18 months and he's a qualified drone pilot. And with the project side, we've been getting quite a few people saying, "Oh, do you do surveys? Can you do project surveys? Can you do, like, you know, we've got buildings, we need to inspect them, but we can't get up on the roof, we can't do scaffolding." So we built that into the business a little bit. Then we ended up doing, you know, we've done promotional videos, we've done inspection work, we've just done some you get the solar panel farms, you've probably seen them around the country. We're just doing some thermal survey work on that, where we go and test how well they're operating with the drone. So that's quite cool. We did some work with a company in Latvia who do wind turbines. You can actually clean and repair wind turbine blades with a drone and robotics. Wow. Quite interesting. Yeah. We did quite a lot of work in central London that nobody really wants to do because the amount of clearances that you need to get, but we sort of specialised in that a little bit. So we've done some stuff at Wembley Stadium, the Millennium, London Eye, the old War Office building around there. We did some stuff. So yeah. Do you find that gives you an advantage over your competitors, having that being able to use the drones? I just think we have we can offer like a one-stop service. I think that's where we do quite well, because as well as we can come in and project manage something for a client, or we can go in and do the project ourselves, so we can deliver it, manage it. We manage the health and safety, quality, environmental, because we're qualified. And then we can also do, like, you know, surveys and any report work, and it just all rolls in sometimes. You don't always use it on one project, but you can. We've done some bigger projects where every service we offered, we sort of used. We try not to go too far outside of that, because you can dilute down what you do, and people then don't know what you actually do as a business, and that can be a bit damaging. I'd say that's a bit of advice around. Don't spread yourself too thin with, you know, don't have 15 services or 10 have a core of, we've sort of got 4 key services really that we offer on our website. So yeah.
Again, being specific, isn't it? You know, with those 4 key rather than lots of different ones. Still some more questions coming here. Let's just get through some of these. What would be your biggest advice to your 16-year-old self?
Oh, that's a good one. Probably. So for me personally, so I did my A-levels, didn't probably try as hard as I was always reasonably good academically. And I maybe didn't work as hard on my A-levels as I should have done. And I was predicted a certain amount of grades. I was actually going to go I got 3 offers to go to uni to do a law degree, believe it or not. Which is more, I think my parents wanted me to do that than me at the time, but I didn't get the grades that I needed, which which was a bit disappointing. But then I ended up going to uni to do a different degree, like a business management degree, which at the time I was like, oh, I don't really, but I was like, yeah, at the time you were supposed to go to uni, the done thing, you sort of go, you've got to do that. And I think probably look back and I thought, well, don't be disappointed and don't have a plan that you think can't change. Like I said before, so at 16, I was like, well, I can still be a footballer. Well, no, you're not. You're playing a county level. That's the best you can be. So, and I was a county tennis player, but that again, I was never going to be at Wimbledon. I was always going to be playing for fun, not for money. So, I think it's having that. Don't have a set thing that you think you have to follow all the time. If something changes or a different path opens, or you think actually that might be a good opportunity, don't just look at everything around and look at all the options. I think I was a little bit blinkered possibly back then by like, oh, I've got to do this and I've got to go to uni and I've got to do that, and then I've gone all the way through my career and sort of done different things at the time that felt like the right thing to do. Maybe against some people's advice sometimes, or don't switch companies, or don't go and work for that company, or don't do. But it's always panned out all right. I mean, there's been some, you make bad choices and good ones, but I would say just be aware of all your options. Don't think there's only one route to where you want to get. Because at 16, I think in my head I had to go to uni, and then I had to do this law degree, and then I had to go and be a solicitor, and I didn't really want to do that, but everyone else seemed to think, I was bright enough. But yeah, but I never did that, and I've worked out all right. So I think so.
Would you have changed anything with those bad decisions and bad experiences, or do you think that they played their part to shape you to the person that you are today?
Yeah, I think the two biggest things for me. One would be when I was in my A levels, and maybe sort of early on at the uni when I first got to uni, because it was a typical at uni we had like only 10 hours a week of lectures, so I was probably in the pub half the time. That's me being perfectly honest, or playing football, or playing sport, or doing golf, or whatever. I think I would have concentrated and worked a bit harder there, because although I was fairly academically bright, I was all right getting results with the minimum work. I really think back, if I'd have pushed myself then, I might have gone a different route with a different degree, possibly, or maybe that. And then I think the other thing, I know it's sort of off the track a little bit, but when I was at uni, I did get myself into quite a bit of uni debt. And that's me being perfectly honest. And I, probably spent money I didn't have, took the overdrafts, took the credit cards that they throw at you when you're a student. And then, it took me quite a long time to get back out of that when I got off, started getting jobs and work. And I think, that for me would be something I wouldn't do now, not to that extent anyway. Yeah. It's difficult because you need it in that situation, but I think for me that would be one thing I would change.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why we've got you here to give that advice to someone who's watching, at least, and now know what to look out for.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy in that situation, but I think when you go to uni and you're a student and you've got to survive, and not everybody has, like I didn't. My mum and dad were sort of working class, worked hard, a nurse and a soldier, but you've got to watch yourself, because you can either get into that trap, and it takes a lot of years to get out of it. It can lock your sort of career progression and wanting to maybe start your own business. If you do, it can hold that back significantly.
Yeah, that's some good advice. Thanks for that, Gary. We've got a question here from Samarkin, who's asking, how many days do you work in a week, and how many hours do you usually? I think we've touched on that earlier on, but how many days do you work in a week?
I deliberately work Monday to Friday. I don't work at the weekend. All right, I might answer a few emails, or on a Sunday night I do a little bit of planning while watching Netflix for the next week. But unless there's some project specific where it involves weekend working, which is normally what my guys do, to be fair, but I wouldn't. Monday to Friday, I say I'm normally up 6:30. That's because the kids are up anyway, and I do probably finish about 5, half 4, 5. Sometimes I'll do stuff on a night again, but it's normally catch up. So if I've been, say, to a site all day, like today, I've been on site all day till I got home, I'll probably do. I won't do it tonight, but I'll probably do it the weekend, like an hour's catch up, just to make sure I've got on top of stuff. It can very easily roll it can very easily roll away with you if you don't keep on top of your admin and your.
Yeah.
I mean, I did. My wife, bless her, was the office manager for us for 12 months, but she's now training to be a nurse. So she sort of dropped out of the business because it's obviously a lot of studying. So at the moment, I am sort of looking at taking on a resource for admin and office management because I am doing it myself, and you get behind. So yeah, probably to answer the question, probably Monday to Friday is what I do, and Friday, to be fair, like after this, I'll knock off. Normally, I'm finished by. I pick the kids up from school at 3 on a Friday, and that's probably me done. Always have my phone on, but then as a business owner, you sort of do. Always keep my eye on social media for any opportunities or things like that. But yeah, just in the background, really.
And what are your plans for the future?
We've got this big project starting next week, which is sort of all my sort of focus is on that. Because we need to get that finished before the 18th of December, which we should do. Then we've got a 3-week. We have a sort of, because our industry tends to close down a lot of the clients or shut down for Christmas. So we'll have like 3 weeks off. So we'll finish on the 18th and come back on the 4th. Got some quite ambitious plans for next year. We did our best revenue year last year, or up to the sort of March 2020. This year it won't be as badly affected as a lot of businesses because we've had work that was ongoing and then it's been delayed and restarted. So we'll be about on a level again. But I think I want to probably take on a business development manager next year, early next year, possibly another sort of sales manager. And then my aim is to maybe try and grow the business slightly throughout next year. I've got some good consultancy partners and contracts starting next year. So I think, trying to grow it. I don't want to be, we all want to be, I don't want to have a business that's like a £10 million a year business particularly, because then I think it becomes a bigger thing that you're then going to have people involved in it, shareholders and stuff. I don't want that, but I want to be a little bit, just keep that gradual growth going, really.
Yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's knowing exactly what, the projection is over the next few years and knowing where your business will continue to grow without overstraining. And that's, again, really important. It's, and again, being honest with where you see things going. But yeah, very good advice again. So where can people find out more about you? And, what's your LinkedIn handle for our viewers who are very active there?
It's I don't know. It's obviously Gary Wilson. I'm on there as my personal LinkedIn. I've also got GPW Consulting Limited, which is on there. We've got a Facebook business page, GPW Consulting. We're on Insta, personal and business. Website is www.gpwconsulting.org.uk. LinkedIn, I'm on a lot. I tend to use that quite a lot. I think that's a very good platform for business. We do put stuff on Facebook business and things, but it's more, that's more to get my personality and personality of the team out a little bit, because I think that's important. Because people do tend to, they don't want a big corporate face. They want to know the person they're dealing with. So LinkedIn. I'm all over LinkedIn, as you well know.
Why would you say LinkedIn is such an important social media site?
For my business, I just think it's. People say it's like Facebook for business, but I don't really agree with that. It's slightly different, but I think you can. The amount of, I'm not a statistics-driven person really, but in the last 12 months, we've had at least £60,000 of the business from LinkedIn, from being connected, from engaging, from following up inquiries, from getting referrals passed on, which is quite a substantial amount. That's, from being on a platform and keeping your videos out there and your content and talking to people and connecting. Not really doing any selling on it, as in, hard sell. I don't agree with that. It's not the way I operate, so I'm not on there. I'll put a post now and again about what we do in our services, but I'm not sort of, we can do this, we can do that. People will come to you if they've got an issue and they see you out there and they'll know that you can do it. I think LinkedIn for me is a big one. We do use the others. I use others for personal stuff as well, but I just think from in our business area, the LinkedIn one is the primary one, really.
We've got some more questions coming in. What are your plans for Europe and with, I suppose, Brexit? And do you plan to, I think you've touched on this already in terms of growth. Do you plan to expand further afield?
Brexit, I'm not saying Brexit won't affect us, because it affects everybody, but for the sort of services and stuff we deliver, and it's not massive, it's not a massive impact, I don't think, currently. I mean, we'll wait and see what happens with any deals that Boris and his crew do with with the EU, and whether we get any extra taxes and things we can't do and can do. But I mean, we're keeping an eye on it. The Chamber of Commerce is very good. We're members of Greater Birmingham and Northampton Chamber of Commerce, and their sort of services to show you what's happening and what's planning is really good. So I keep an eye on that. We have done work abroad. We've done some work in Europe, we've done some work in Holland. Did some offshore work before on the rigs, but I don't tend to do that anymore, really. Just from a family perspective, because you're away for a long time, it's just not doesn't fit with me. We're probably looking at. I've got some connections and stuff in Egypt, which is a weird one, but we got a link again to the Egyptian Chamber of Commerce. Went down to London to the ambassador. We got invited to the ambassador's residence in Mayfair, the Egyptian ambassador. So we went there last year, out of the blue, and got some links there. So there's a lot of projects going on, build projects over there, which I'm again in the background having conversations. They're probably long term. They're not going to happen till 23 or whatever, but we're in there early, which I think is always quite critical as well. So I mean, we cover the UK anyway. So we've done bits in Europe. We've done work with our Latvian contacts before last year a couple of times. Always open to any options, really. Got asked to price a job in Iraq, but I turned that one down. oil tank cleaning in Iraq, it was worth a lot of money, but it was just not worth the security risk, to be honest.
Yeah. So what final parting words would you want to leave our audience with?
Sorry, I lost you there. What?
Sorry, what would you like to leave our audience with? What final words?
I would say, for me, always be self. Always have confidence in yourself, because even if you've got doubters and people around you, they might not. You've got an idea or something. Try and realize that it can be a positive, and seek advice. Always look around your friends, your connections, your family, because they'll be the people, or should be the people, that will guide you, help you. People like yourselves and your organisation, Chambers of Commerce. They're all really good, neutral points to have a discussion with. Always be positive. Always think that there's more than one option. Don't always think there's one option. You only have to take that one option. It's very, very rare in life, including business, where you're backed into such a corner that that you've only got one option. So, and keep connecting, keep talking with people. Be yourself, and that'll get you far in life. Not just running a business, to be honest.
Well, Gary, thank you so much for your time today. There's lots of gems to take away there, from taking that chance, never live with regret. If there's something that you've always wanted to do, go for it, do it, be positive, and also, use the people that are around you, network. You've been on sites like LinkedIn, and you guys have been very active on there. And you've heard from Gary himself, a substantial amount of his business comes from there. So you can imagine what you guys could do if you used it to your advantage. So Gary, a huge thank you to you again. Thank you for your time on this Friday afternoon.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Really good. Really enjoyed it.
And a huge thank you as well to all of you. You guys at Croydon, Colston, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you very much indeed for engaging in this week of virtual work experience. We really hope you've enjoyed it. And thank you very much from myself and from all the Change in Education family. Take care. Thank you.